Welcome to God's Handiwork, our daily devotional. Remember that you are God's handiwork, created in Jesus Christ to do God's work, which God prepared in advance for you to do. This is Minister Alice from Dallas, Texas.
Yesterday we were speaking about obedience. We were talking about, is partial obedience obedience, or is partial obedience disobedience? So we were saying how Prophet Samuel went to talk to King Saul about him not following the orders that he was given by God to kill the Amalekites who suppressed the children of Israel when they were leaving Egypt going on to Canaan. King Saul was told, destroy all of them, do not leave anyone alive. But he let his soldiers take the spoil, the good sheep and goats, and he saved the king of Amalek, Agag, who he ended up killing. But it was in retrospect because he was busted. He was caught in not following direction. So because of that, God was very angry with him. And fast forward, that was 1 Samuel chapter 15 that we were reading yesterday. So in between the chapters, Prophet Samuel died. Now we're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 28. So in this story here, we are continuing to see King Saul destroy himself because of disobedience. So now God is angry with him because of that incident that we just spoke about. And then Prophet Samuel dies, and God is not speaking now to King Saul. So King Saul is worried because now the glory of God has left him. The anointing has left him. The cover has left him. And now all these other tribes are coming to fight him. Now he's on his own. He's on panic mode. Then he decides, during the time when Prophet Samuel was alive, God had told King Saul, destroy all these sorcerers, all these people who are like the fortune tellers in our modern time, people who read your palms. I'm from Kenya, so we have them. They're called what? Wagangas. You go to them and they supposedly will give you the fountain of love or money or whatever, all those fake things that evoke evil spirits. So God had told him to get rid of them, and he did when Prophet Samuel was alive. But there was one witch, one sorceress, who hid and was still alive. In this chapter 28, we see that because King Saul was so desperate, he decided to go and consult this sorceress. So instead of, he was praying, but God wasn't listening to him because of his many sins. So he goes and he looks for the sorceress, the Median, who goes to speak to the dead. And here we see Saul goes to see this woman. He disguises himself because there was history in the land that King Saul did not like these sorceresses. He was a guy that was worshiping Jehovah God, and he didn't want anything to do with them. So this woman was in hiding. So desperate King Saul goes to see her. He disguises himself because he knows if she identifies him, she will not be able to tell him whatever he wants to see of the future. So he went to find out the future. So he goes, he tells her, tell me what you see. And the woman doesn't identify him in the beginning. And that is in 1 Samuel 28 verse 8. So Saul disguises himself and puts on other garments, and he went, and the two men with him, he had his bodyguards, and they came to the woman by night, and he said, divine for me by a spirit, and bring up for me whoever I shall name to you. The woman said to him, surely you know what Saul had done, how he has cut off the Medians and the necromancers from the land. Why then are you lying a trap for me to bring me to death? Verse 10, but Saul swore to the woman by the Lord, as the Lord liveth, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing. Then the woman said, whom shall I bring up to you? So this woman is going into the spiritual, the darkness, the things of the devil, the evil, going to find out what Saul is asking. Apparently, Saul here, he says, then the woman says, whom shall I bring up to you? He says, bring up Samuel for me. because that's the time Samuel had died and he wanted guidance. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice, and the woman said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul, the king." The king said to her, "Do not be afraid. What do you see?" The woman said to Saul, "I see a God coming up out of the earth." He said to her, "What is his appearance?" And she said, "An old man is coming up, and he is wrapped in a robe." And Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed his face to the ground.